PINKROID, you bore! Well, if you don't get that one, let's see. Glorious versus PINKROID in our match 3, set 1.
Let's see what we have for pre-bans. Pre-bans are going to be interesting. They're locked in. We actually have that She-Hope being locked out. And I think that also does mean exactly what I said. Glorious has the first pick. Therefore, PINKROID says, I'm not going to be able to pick it first. Therefore, neither of us is going to be playing with it.
Let's find out how they're going to work around this one then. In our very first pick, it's going to be Okeanos as a response from Glorious, allowing that Oliver pick to be taken out.
Okeanos as a first pick is definitely interesting. You mostly see, like, if the first pick is not a speed lead, it's mostly the She-Hope, but opting something else is interesting to see, because now we have a very different dynamic, because we have the Jogun already as a pre-steal, whereas the Jogun Oliver, as mentioned before, is mostly not that crazy strong. Plus, Megami, really good counter against both of them.
Definitely a good answer. Changing it up then here, Glorious, taking away that Ciara. Wow, we're going into some Sekhmet play.
Sekhmet play, very interesting as well. So if the She-Hope is not available, Sekhmet is a good option. But we're playing on the side of PINKROID for a very heavy bruiser matchup and very heavy on damage.
Very heavy on that damage. Can you get that skill 2 from a Marsha and take out a unit pretty quickly? Glorious, on the other hand, right now, showing some significant speed and carrying it on.
Yep, we're carrying on with the double speed lead, but we're getting kind of in a matchup where you have to deny the turns of multiple units on your enemy on the side of the field. But can you take down all of them? We're actually going to go back to, once again, a Chow. Chow is a really good counter into all of the units if the Sierra is not on the field. So is that the ban of choice?
Yeah, is it signaling a ban? But then the mind games come into play, right? Say, if you know that you're going to be banning one out, are you actually going to follow through with it? Or do you kind of wait until your opponent has made that decision? What are you thinking?
It's definitely a hard ban right now, because the Chow is hard to deal with if the Sierra is not on the field. But I could see a world where it's still slightly possible. It's just fairly difficult. So I think that in the end, Glorious will respect it. But then, big question is, where does the speed contesting go to? Because Oliver off the field makes it by a lot faster. But no, we're respecting the Chow.
We are respecting it. We've got speed leads for both players, Glorious and PINKROID. It's our Europe preliminaries day 3. Who is going to join the other players? Sekhmet, are you going to land?
Sekhmet goes first. However, there is no immunity to steal from your opposing side. So therefore, Marsha or Annabelle can provide a defense break on that unit right away. Annabelle is not going to be the one.
It's not going to be the one, but can you try and get some turn cycling through? Going into the Megumi instead to prevent a stun. Oh!
Ooh, stunned coming in. We could go for something on this Oliver right now, but you also still have to take care of that Marsha at a later moment. We're gonna go into the Marsha. Want to deal with it early on.
Yeah, want to deal with it early on. You've got some cool times trying to get rid of this Okeanos. Big hits coming on.
13k crit, wrong element, and a Sierra not connecting her bomb. This is absolutely not what you want to see as a Sierra player. You want to be connecting those bombs. You want to be dropping that high, heavy damage. In this case, it's not happening. We have a Curse of the Beautiful over here. Is she looking like Nefties? Just a little bit.
Yeah, you're landing those defense breaks right here. But again, the moment Marsha can get online with Oliver helping out and pushing back, wow, it's going to be close.
It's going to be really close, because also the Annabelle is currently sitting on the turn available to go for Girl Sprayer again. We do get a good amount of damage into this Marsha, but still can be cleansed off later. Also, we do not have any skills available due to the Oliver resetting this Sierra earlier on.
Yeah, the reset earlier paid off dividends here, and that skill 3, you can get some more cool times inserted in just control if you PINKROID.
Have more control coming in. No skills on this one just yet, but we do have this Girl Sprayer as mentioned. So therefore, can take a lot of damage on the enemy side. And that's the thing with the Sekhmet. If you're stunning something, or if you're resetting something on your first turn that doesn't have any will runes, doesn't have any immunity, your cooldown on your third skill is going to be a lot longer. But in the end, he had to go for that Jogun.
He had to get rid of the Jogun right here. This is going to help a little bit. Kind of find Megumi, get some more stuns in, and allow a bomb to be planted. Cool time.
Cool time from the Oliver. Oliver showcasing, even with additional turns, is just simply not enough. And Oliver is just taking rain on all of those armor breaks right now. And Marsha would take out this match. Glorious does concede for that set.
PINKROID 1-0 up against Glorious right here, a previous 3-time Europe Cup champion, showing why he is going to be making it through. Can Glorious look to get a reverse sweep against him right here, say?
Let's see what we have for the pre-bans. Does Oliver, or does the Shiho also get pre-banned by Glorious right now? Meaning that neither of the two players are going to be playing with a Shiho first. Because if the Shiho is open for PINKROID to pick it as first pick, I would be very surprised if he picks anything else.
Yeah, let's see here then. Full amount of time. How are you going to work around it? You're up against some of the strongest players that Europe has to offer right here. These names could have already been at a Europe Cup. Unfortunately, they have to face each other to see who is going to make their way through to Paris for that Europe Cup pre-bans. A Misty and a Sekhmet even pre-banned.
Interesting. So we're not necessarily banning a unit specific, we're banning a set. Oh, Sekhmet has your fastest set, I'll be banning out your fastest set and I can play the speed game. But the Misty pre-ban is fairly interesting as well, because as expected, PINKROID is locking in that Misty, or locking in the Shiho.
Yeah, quick response from a Glorious though, maybe saying, hey, that's not my fastest set over there, maybe there's one on an Etna.
Definitely well possible right there, but Etna plays are always a little bit difficult to play in, because you do have to remember your enemy does have a tier lag. However, already picking up that Megami makes where the hardest counter on an Etna early on is not available.
Wow, coming in for an Okeanos and an Anivel right here, so showing no real speed in terms of the speed lead on the side of PINKROID, and Glorious taking another one for himself with the Water Twin Angels.
Water Twin Angels, is he going to be aiming towards also a Sonya kind of style of draft? Because that would work more with a Water Twin Angels, gives you more options for cooldown resets. It's actually going to go for a Sierra plus a Jogun. We have seen it before, where Hege is enough to counter the Jogun. Let's see if that would work out in this match too.
Yeah, fifth pick can be coming in right now from the side of PINKROID. Tian Lang is going to take that away from the Etna, and then a revive potential as well coming through with that Vanessa. Maybe signaling there's not a Sonya trap on the field?
I don't think that there's a Sonya trap on the field because of that Vanessa. Like Vanessa, ooh, actually back and forth on these picks. Normally PINKROID is a lot faster to lock in exactly what he wants, but in this case definitely does take his time to see what would lock in the best way. Also, Shizuka is a really strong pick that you probably have to respect, but the big question is a Shiho on a 33, 115 pace faster than a 28 lead and on a 119 pace Etna if you're respecting that Shizuka and if you're respecting the Tian Lang?
I'll let you do the maths on that one, say, because you said a lot of different numbers that obviously make sense around which one is going to be taking that first turn. But is it going to be an option with the speed lead?
Well, that's the big question. We do have one speed lead on one side, two speed leads on the other side. So Glorious will definitely be sitting on speed lead. Big question is, are we respecting that Shizuka? We are not respecting the Shizuka, but the Etna will take that first turn.
Speed lead versus attack lead going into it. PINKROID 1, Glorious currently sat at 0. Who can get this second set win? And Etna, it's your time to shine.
Now we can go in for a capture, plus we can also right away put it in the scroll. So it's not just stunned, it's also stunned and not cleansable later on. Never mind, it is cleansable later on, so you have to work against that too.
Definitely do have to work against it right now. Maybe it's even worth getting it off the field completely. Going for the Anivel instead then.
Yep, going against the clans. 36k instantly sniping out this unit.
Ooh, big stuns are right here. This could be a changing point for PINKROID.
Oh, where everything was looking very lively just a second ago. Tian Lang skill 2 additional damage. Okeanos skill 3 additional damage. So much damage coming in. Plus, in the end, we did stun the Shiho, but we did not take any of the cooldowns of the Shiho.
Wow, skill 3 coming in as well. Ooh.
Well, big issue right now. You can only drop it on the Tian Lang because a Okeanos would simply throw it back. But this is a very hard hitting bomb right there. Big question is, can that Etna do enough work to kill anything at this moment? Because we're gonna get armor broken potentially, but even if not, lots of damage from skill 1.
Yeah, skill 2 fishing for some stuns right here from the Shiho as well. Can you get it going? Does get it on the Etna as well.
Does get it on the wrong element, does not get it on the right element, but that is exactly how the rotation is that you like to see. Taking out the Etna as well. Haven't seen how much damage that bomb would have done without the attack buff, but that is a second victory for PINKROID already.
PINKROID extending his lead there. 2-0 against Glorious right now. I mean, it was a moment where at the beginning it looked like Glorious kind of had it in the locker with that bomb damage, but just showing the additional turns and the stuns that come out from the side of PINKROID, very, very dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous. But it was also one of those things, like in hindsight, would you have killed anything else knowing that the Okeanos would take over the match that much more than maybe the NFL? Because sure, the NFL would have went for the cleanses, but would you have taken out half of your team with a skill 3? Well, potentially as well. So the draft, once again, for PINKROID was very well set there over there.
Yep, so much knowledge around what he's picking, where he wants to pick it, and how. Glorious right now. This is the time for you to try and pull off this reverse sweep to get to the Europe Cup. What are you? Huh?
I'm not too sure about that one. Maybe as a 5th pick, I could have seen it. But maybe he's also just out of ideas of what he wants to do. And then we're going to be locking in like interesting units. Rocky, Ataris. Well, to be honest, PINKROID on his profile did have Ataris as most picked on leaderboards. But that's mostly him having more fun rather than playing very serious.
Definitely is. But I'd love to see it right here. Glorious has that Fire Megumi, opting potentially for a Misty, we just saw them, but instead for this Okeanos.
Okeanos, and we do go back to a Masha, and we go for the Misty on the side of PINKROID. So we do have setups that are actually very strong with attack buff right now on that Joe gun. So let's see what Glorious has as counter to it. Megami is kind of a counter to that, but is that good enough as a counter?
Let's find out. Ashur coming onto the field. Who are you looking to partner it with right here, right now? This is last chance saloon for you, Glorious. Currently 2 sets down. Is Volantis the answer?
Ooh, Volantis is a difficult one, but I do understand the idea between Volantis and going for a Heigang. Heigang would leave you with a lot less damage, and taking out a Misty right then would be a lot more difficult. But Volantis is that chance that you don't actually get attack bar increase. On the other side, we do see a potential Douglas. Douglas can take out all of the units on the side of Glorious, except maybe the Bayek. Bayek on the skill 3 could take out the Douglas, but I think you have to respect it still.
Are you going to respect it right here? Are you going to be respecting... Oh, God, we've seen a Douglas game in SWC, say.
Well, there is a slight way for skill 1 of a Megami to land attack break. And then you could do a lot of damage that way, but that's going to be super difficult. Also, Okeanos is outspeeding the Volantis. The rotation is off.
Rotation is off. You can't get that skill 3, but some good provokes coming in right there.
Very good provokes. Is this the moment where you go for an attack break? No, attack break actually landing potential more damage towards that Misty. If there's crit on this Oliver, you could do a good amount of damage on this already.
Can you look to try and get rid of it right now? I'm surprised he didn't try and stun as well, that Marsha. Oh,
Marsha sitting on glancing, but does have the additional turn. Are we going to go towards the damage of this Okeanos? No, just waiting until that glancing is gone.
Yeah, now you can keep getting that strip off right now. I mean, Douglas is going to be taking in between turns, but you're going to have to deal with him at some point.
How much damage is this Douglas going to be sitting on? That's also the big question. Skill 2 into the skill 1 does get both skills on, and that's a lot of damage already.
Definitely is. Again, if you hit skill 2, you're getting revenge, most likely. Or not.
Not a single revenge from those. Let's see, Okeanos skill 3. So many hits, but none of them actually went for a revenge.
Wow. Douglas being playing at his own game at the moment, but I wouldn't want to call it too early.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, a rate of stones from Okeanos is 3 to 5 hits. Are you going to tell me 3 to 5 hits, none of them actually activated the glancing? That's fairly interesting. But yeah, that is also a thing that can happen to Douglas. Big issue that comes, however, at some given point. You have to hit it with every unit on the field, which does give you the chance. Ooh, you're going to be losing your attack break.
Yeah, you've lost your attack break. Do you just have to send it now and hope?
Well, you could wait it one more turn for the moment where it's at least the dots added in a little bit of damage. Best thing you can do right now is hit it with a rain of stones. So he's trying to lower the turns. If you get slow right now, you also have less damage output. Rain of stones is what you want to be dealing the damage with. So I think he might be waiting for the rain of stones.
Yeah, maybe not even using skill 3 right here. No, you don't want Oliver taking another turn.
That's the big question. Yes, simply going for skill 1. Do you go for potential stun on it right now? Because you might be getting an attack break on your Okeanos. And if your Okeanos is attack broken, ooh, once again, can't go for it. The dots are working. Do you go? Ooh, we don't go for the potential attack break. Rain of stones. How much damage are we looking at? 5 hits? I think those were 5 hits. None of them, once again, went for the glancing. I'm calling it. This Douglas was scamming PINKROID over there.
Wow, Glorious bringing back the start of his potential reverse sweep here, 1-2 against PINKROID. Douglas came to play, and then he fell asleep this time, sir.
Yeah, this Douglas was scamming people, man. That thing did absolutely nothing. Like, he didn't have a single counter going off. Well, he had like one counter going off on the Phalantis super early, but then also the Phalantis skills did not activate any of the glancing. So, yeah, sometimes it works, but sometimes it never works, it seems.
Yeah, that's... Well, there we go. In SWC, even the best are picking out a Douglas when it makes sense right here. Pre-bans. Back to a Sekhmet. Back to a Misty.
Yep, not wanting to have to deal with that Misty over there, but that does also mean PINKROID is back at his most comfortable unit, which is that Shiho.
Definitely is that Shiho. Are we going to be locking it in that first pick? We are. Glorious taking away the duo.
Taking away the duo over there. Let's see what PINKROID does have for answers later on. Oliver, still available. Could go into an early Hay Gang, but it's already locking in the Shiho plus the Hay Gang. Might be a little bit too early. Or does he go for other comfortable picks?
Let's find out. Third pick coming in then for PINKROID right here. You've got Oliver, you've got that speed lead. Are you going to look to get another potential damage coming through there?
Ooh, that's an early Sonya, because you do know that your enemy does like to play Athena. So also locking in a 33 lead. So in this position, PINKROID has to be... Ooh, but that leaves your 33 lead for the enemy, though. Like, yeah, that's a little bit of back and forth. Megami is, in general, the better unit. But if you don't pick one of the other unit will end up on the team of the other one. So we're locking in very fast units. Like, pretty much the fastest unit in the meta right now.
Yeah, it could be a pretty quick one going through some of these snipes right here. Again, Glorious. Has his speed leads, has his high base units. Maybe another one just to be very annoying.
Yeah, it's definitely the question. Can you lock in anything in the 5th position right now, which could deal with everything? Well, that's a very fast unit. Talking about the fastest unit in-game, potentially Gingerbrave is the fastest unit in-game. You would have to be banning out the Hay Gang. And the big question is, does the Megami take enough attack bar if the Athena is not on the field, which might be the case?
This is crazy. Seeing this Gingerbrave coming out right here into our SWC. Like you said, get rid of that Hay Gang. I just respecting into that Etna. The guys need to figure it out right now, as Glorious has started his reverse sweep. But is he going to continue it? No Etna, no Hay Gang. 33 speed leads going into it. Glorious versus PINKROID. Could be a deciding set here.
It's going to be the big question. Ooh, we actually have the Sonya move first, but Gingerbrave moving second. Okay, that is an attack buff, but you would have had attack buff regardless. But the big question is, even if you land at S2 right now, you do have this skill over here. And yeah, then you're just pretty much a sitting duck, because right now, Oliver will move right after this. So the idea of the Gingerbrave was really nice. But the big issue was that Megami.
Was that Megumi right there. I mean, you've got the strips, you've got the attack buffs, but maybe it's a despair?
Despair right here, but also looking at the HP of that Sonya, it's looking very grim, and I don't think that the Gingerbrave can take it from this point on.
No, I think it's too much of an uphill battle right now for a little old Gingerbrave to fight off against these units. Sonya will be cycling at some point very soon as well.
Yep, well, maybe if you stun every given turn out there, it would be a potential thing, but then again, you have to be working with the speed you have. Sitting on that slope is not nice.
It's not, and it's not nice when Oliver takes that turn, can get some cool time, just gets no pushback though.
No pushback, but is it enough? We're going back in for the Eagle. We have the Gingerbrave being stunned, which is actually an animation we don't see all too often, but it's a pretty funny looking animation.
Yep, he's tumbling from side to side, just as Glorious is right now, as PINKROID looking to extend that lead to a 3-1 and qualify again for the Europe Cup, say.
Yep, once again qualifying for that Europe Cup. One of very many times.